Good morning, class. Today we are going to start a new topic. That's unit number 3. It's a prose, and the title is The Attic. Shall we begin the class? Yes. So, yes, now we are moving on to the author introduction. I have given an introduction about our author. Just listen carefully. Look about the author Satyajit Ray, 1921 to 1992. So, that's his lifespan. He was an Indian filmmaker, screenwriter, graphic artist, music composer, and author. He was born in Kolkata. He authored several short stories and novels meant primarily for young children and teenagers. He revived the children's magazine Sandesh, which his grandfather had started in 1913, and edited it until his death in 1992. Ray was more interested in writing rather than filmmaking. His stories have been translated in Europe, the United States, and many other countries. Ray received many awards, including 32 National Film Awards by the Government of India, notably the Padma Bhushan in 1965 and the highest civilian honor, Bharat Ratna, shortly before his death. So, this is just an overview or an outline of our author and his life. Okay, so this is the life story of our author Satyajit Ray. Okay, so he is basically an Indian filmmaker, screenwriter, graphic artist, music composer, and also an author. Clear? So he was born in Kolkata. Yes. So this is just an overview about our author Satyajit Ray. Have you all understood? Yes. Now we are moving on to the glossary part. So students, listen carefully, because this, if you memorize or if you understand these words, then you can easily understand the whole theme of the story while reading once. Okay, so we have given the hard words here, which are very difficult to understand in the story, and we have given the meaning here. Okay, so listen carefully. I'll read and explain one by one. So look at the first word, that is bifurcated. Bifurcated is actually a verb, and the meaning is divided into two. Okay, so bifurcated is nothing but dividing something. It may be anything. If we divide a thing into two, then that action is called as bifurcated. Okay, clear? Yes. The next one is revive. Revive is a verb. Okay, so revive, now it's very common among youngsters, because we'll use this game. We'll use this word in a game and all. Okay, so revive is nothing but it's a verb to bring something back to life. Okay, so to bring something back to life. So that's the meaning of the word revive. Clear? Next one is soothing. Soothing is a verb. Okay, so and the meaning is making someone feel calm. Clear? So soothing is nothing but making someone feel calm. Okay, so next one is rustic. Rustic is actually an adjective. Okay, and the meaning is typical of the countryside. So rustic is nothing but it is an adjective that is used to mention or refer a typical countryside. Countryside is nothing but village side. Okay, understand? Yes. And the next word is dilated. Dilated is a verb actually. Dilated is nothing but widened than usual. Actually, expanding or widening a thing than usual size. Okay, so that is called as dilated. Clear? Yes. The next one is ascertained. Ascertained is a verb, and the meaning is confirmed. Okay. Next one is overwrought. Overwrought is an adjective, and the meaning is state of being upset. So next time you can use this word overwrought instead of using a common word that is upset. Okay, so it is an adjective. So and the meaning is state of being upset. Clear? Yes. The next word is attic. Attic is a noun, and the meaning is the space or room at the top of a building under the roof. Actually, the attic. Actually, we have seen this word already in another lesson. The night the ghost got in. So in that lesson also we have seen the same word attic. So attic is nothing but a place over the rooftop, not over the rooftop. Actually, it is a place at the rooftop. Okay. It is like a small room or a space where we can store things, or we can use it as a private room. Okay, so that is an attic. So it is a noun. The next word is crumbled. Crumbled is nothing but it is a verb. Crumbled is nothing but broken into pieces. So that is what we call it as a crumbled. Crumbled is a verb. And next one is spire. It is a noun, and the meaning is a tall pointed structure on top of a building, especially on top of a church tower. So spire is nothing but a tall pointed structure on top of a building, especially where we can see it. We can see it in the top of a church tower. Clear? Yes. The next word is unperturbed. Unperturbed. It's an adjective. Okay. Unperturbed. And the meaning is undisturbed. Okay. The next word is affluent. Affluent is an adjective, and the meaning is wealthy. Clear? And the final word is smacks. Smack is a verb, and the meaning is drive or put forcefully into or onto something. Okay. So smack is nothing but it is an action of driving or putting something forcefully into or onto something. Clear? So these are the important words or the hard words in this lesson, and you have to read and understand the meaning clearly to understand the complete story. Clear? Yes. So now we are moving into the lesson. Students, just listen carefully one by one, line by line. You have to listen while I'm reading. Then you can understand what the author is trying to say. Okay. So first I'll read it once and I'll explain one by one. Clear? Yes. Follow me. First I'm going to read the text inside the box. So listen carefully. It is natural for human beings to make mistakes. When we realize our mistakes, we should try to rectify them. If you get a chance to rectify your mistake or pay back for it, what would you do? How would you correct it? So, in the beginning of the story itself, the author is giving or asking you a question like it is natural for human being to make mistakes. So what the author is saying is it is very common or natural for a human being to make mistakes. So and when we realize our mistakes, we should try to rectify them. Yes, obviously, if you are understanding that you have made a mistake, or if you are accepting that you are making a mistake, what you should do immediately? You should what? You should rectify them. Rectify in the sense you should make sure, or you should correct the mistake. Okay, so if you get a chance to rectify a mistake or pay back for it, what would you do, or how would you correct it? So that's the question asked by the author. So imagine if you are getting a chance to rectify or correct your mistakes, what would you do, or how would you do? So that's the question. From this itself we are understanding that the story is all about a mistake done by a particular person, and the way he rectifies or he corrects his mistake. I guess this is the topic, or this is the theme of the story. Let's enter into the lesson and learn what the author is trying to say. Clear? Yes. Listen carefully while I am reading. Aditya and I were returning from the site of our new factory at Deodaranj. Okay. We were driving along National Highway 40. We had reached a point where the road bifurcated. If we drove 10 kilometers along the road that branched off to the right, we would reach Brahmapur. I asked Aditya whether he was interested in revisiting the place of his birth, which he had left after he passed the matriculation examination from the local school to continue his studies in Calcutta. When I left our ancestral house 29 years ago, the house was almost 200 years old, recollected Aditya. I doubted if even the school buildings, which may have undergone many changes, will be recognizable anymore. Trying to revive old childhood memories may prove disappointing. So this is given in this page. Okay, so they are introducing a character named Aditya. Okay, so Aditya and I. So here I guess he will be the narrator of the story. So Aditya and I were returning from the site of a new factory at Deodaranj. Okay, Deodarganj. Okay, so that's how you have to pronounce the word Deodarganj. We were driving along National Highway 40. We had reached a point where the road bifurcated. So bifurcated, what is the meaning of bifurcated? I have told you already. So dividing something into two. Okay. If we drove 10 kilometers along the road that branched off to the right, we would have reached Brahmapur. I asked Aditya whether he was interested in revisiting the place of his birth, which he had left after he passed the matriculation examination. Okay, from the local school to continue his studies in Calcutta. So the native town of Aditya is Brahmapur, and he left his hometown after passing the what matriculation exams, and he went to which place? Calcutta. Yes, Calcutta for his studies. So this is the idea given in this page. Okay, clear? Yes. Okay, class, now look at the next page. But he said he wished to visit the tea shop of Nagin uncle if it still existed and have a cup of tea there. So we took the turning to the right and decided to drive to Brahmapur, of which Aditya's ancestors were once the zamindars. Aditya's father had left the ancestral home and moved to Kolkata, where he had set up his own business. After his death, Aditya was looking after it, and I was his friend and business partner. It was the month of Magha, that in January and February, by the English calendar, the middle of winter. By my watch, it was 3:30 in the afternoon. The sun was soothing. On either side of the road were paddy fields, as far as the eyes could see. Harvest was over, and there had been a good crop that year. So here the narrator is explaining, or he's like describing the place where Aditya's parents lived. Okay, so what they are saying is they wanted to visit a particular spot, that is Uncle Nagin's tea shop, and to have a cup of tea there. Okay, so they took the right and they went to Brahmapur. So that's the place where Aditya's parents were there. They were zamindars at one period of time in that place, and Aditya's father left their ancestral home is nothing but their hereditary house, like their grandfather's house. Okay, so they left their house and they just moved to Kolkata regarding their business. Okay, so there in Kolkata, Aditya's father set up his own business, and after his death, Aditya was taking care of all those business. And the narrator is nobody than the friend of Aditya, and it's not only the friend of Aditya, but he's also the business partner of Aditya. Okay, so they were in the month of Magha. Magha is nothing but in Tamil we'll call it as a Masi Magha. Okay, so like that in the month of January to February. Okay, so that's the exact time when the story was happening. So by the English calendar, the month was January to February. Okay, so that's the middle of winter. The time was 3:30 in the afternoon, and the sun was like soothing. Soothing is like making calm. Okay, on either sides of the road there were paddy fields. Paddy fields were there, and that year the harvest was very good. That in the sense there had been good crops that year. Okay, yes. So that's what's said in this complete paragraph. Clear? After about 10 minutes, we came to the local school. Beyond the iron gates were the playing field and the two-storied school building. We got down from the car and stood in front of the gate. I asked Aditya whether everything was still the same. He replied that everything had changed. Our school used to be one-storied, and a new building has come up, which wasn't there. Were you not a good student? I asked. Yes, but my position was always second, he replied. We decided to go and have tea at Nagin uncle's tea shop, which stood next to a grocery shop and opposite a temple dedicated to Lord Shiva. Soon we caught sight of Nagin's tea cabin written on a signboard over the shop. So, this is the next explanation or this description of the scene. After 10 minutes, they just reached a local school. Beyond the iron gates were the playing fields and a two-storied building. Okay, so the school was two-storied building. We got down from the car and stood in front of the gate. So they just got down out of the car and they were standing in front of the gate. And the narrator, the friend of Aditya, just asking, where was everything the same before? Like that, he's asking, and Aditya is responding that our school used to be one storied and a new building has come up, which wasn't there. So, like that, he's replying because at the time of Aditya's schooling, the building was like one storied, but now it has become two storied. Okay, which means two floors. Clear? Then he is asking a question. Who? Aditya's friend is asking Aditya a question. Were you not a good student? Like that he is asking, and Aditya responded that yes, but my position was always second. So like that Aditya is responding. Then they decided to go to Uncle Nagin's tea shop and to have some tea. They just found the signboard of Uncle Nagin's tea cabin. Okay, so they went there and they just sat there. Okay, that's what's said in this scene. Clear? Yes. The owner of the tea shop, now over 60, a little rustic in appearance, with his white, neatly combed hair and a clean look, was the same as before. He was wearing a dhoti and a blue striped shirt that could be seen from under a green shawl. Not recognizing Aditya, he asked us where we had come from. Deodarang, Aditya replied. We are on our way to Kolkata. A little surprised Nagin uncle asked why we were there. To have tea at your shop, said Aditya. Certainly, besides tea, I have biscuits and savories. Give us 2 nanka tea each. So that's what the conversation here. So now both of them, Aditya and his friend, both went to the tea shop, Uncle Nagin's tea shop, and they sat on the bench. And the narrator is explaining about the appearance of Uncle Nagin. Okay, so the owner of the tea shop, now over 60, so that's the age of Uncle Nagin, and he is a little rustic in appearance. Rustic is nothing but like countryside, okay, like a villager, with his white, neatly combed hair and clean look. So he looks like he has combed his hair neatly, and it was fully white, and he looks clean. Okay, he was wearing a dhoti and a blue striped shirt that could be seen under a green shawl. So he's asking, he could not recognize Aditya because it was way long years ago, and with a little surprise, he is asking where are you coming from, and they are replying that they are coming from Kolkata. And Uncle Nagin was very surprised, and he just asked what is the purpose of their visit, and they just said that to have some tea in your shop. So now certainly besides tea, I have biscuits and savories, said Uncle Nagin, and Aditya replied that give us 2 nanka tea each. So nanka tea is nothing but a savory dish. Okay, clear? Yes. We sat on 2 tin chairs. There was only one other customer sitting at a corner table, neither eating nor drinking tea, but sitting with his head bent as though he were sleeping. Addressing him as Mr. Sanyal, Nagin uncle reminded him to go home. As it was already 4 p.m., other customers would soon be coming. Addressing us, he said with a wink in his eye, a little head hard of hearing, can't see well either, but has no money to buy spectacles. From his reaction to the speech, I began to wonder whether Mrs. Sanyal was not a little crazy as well, because suddenly he stood up, stretched himself, and raising his lean right arm, and with eyes dilated, began to recite a poem by Tagore, Panraksha, keeping of a promise. Having recited the poem, he left the place, making the gesture of Namaste with his hands to nobody in particular. So, yes, now they are introducing a new character in the story, that is Mr. Sanyal. Okay, so Uncle Nagin's tea shop is the spot, and they're sitting and ordered two nankatis each and some tea. So they were waiting. In front of them, there was an old man sitting with his head bent down, and they can't identify him. Uncle Nagin just introduces him to the prince that he is Mr. Sanyal. Okay, and he also reminded him that the time is already 4 p.m. and asked him to leave home because the other customers would reach the tea shop at any time. Okay, so yes, by that time, Uncle Sanyal, Mr. Sanyal was he looks like very shabby person with a long hair and all, torn dresses, a little hard of hearing, cannot see well either, but has no money to buy spectacles. So this is said by Mr. Sanyal. From his reaction to the speech, he was wondering. The narrator was wondering whether Mr. Sanyal was not a little crazy as well, because suddenly what he did, he just stood up and he stretched his legs and arms with the eyes dilated. You already know the meaning of the word dilated, and began to recite a poem. Which poem? The poem of Rabindranath Tagore, and the name is Panraksha. Okay, the meaning is keeping a promise. So after reciting the poem, he just left the place, making the gesture of Namaste. Namaste is nothing but, in Tamil we'll say it as Vanakkam. Okay, with his hands to nobody in particular. So by saying Namaste, he just left the place. Clear? So that's what happening in this scene. Clear? Yes. I noticed a sudden change in Aditya's expression, and I asked him the reason for it. Without answering me, he asked Nagin uncle who the gentleman was and what he did. Nagin uncle replied, Sasanka Sanyal, what can be done? He leads a cursed life, gone crazy, I think, but has not forgotten any incident of the past. Sold his lands to get his only daughter married. He lost his wife and only son last year. Since then, he is somewhat changed, not really normal. Where does he stay? He stays with a friend of his father's, Jogesh Kabiraj. Son Sasanka comes here, has tea and biscuits, and always remembers to pay, having an acute sense of self-respect. But how long things will remain like this, I don't know. So here, after the person, Mr. Sanyal left the place, the narrator noticed a sudden change in Aditya's expression. He just asked Nagin uncle about the gentleman, and he said that the person is nothing but, the person is no one than Sasanka Sanyal. Okay. So he just tells that the person is leading a cursed life. He sold all his lands to get his daughter married, and his wife and only son were dead last year. And then he was like he was not living normal, like that he is staying. And now Aditya asked, where does he stay? And Uncle Nagin says that he stays with a friend of his father's, Jogesh Kabiraj. Okay, so they are introducing another new character, and the name is Jogesh Kabiraj. Okay, so he also adds that son Sasanka comes here, has tea and biscuits, and always remembers to pay, having an acute sense of self-respect, but how long things will remain like this, I don't know. So like that, who's saying like that? Yes, Uncle Nagin says like that. Clear? Yes. Having paid our bill and ascertained the location of Jogesh Kabiraj's house, we got into the car. Aditya was at the wheel. He expressed the wish to visit his house. So, you don't want to see your house after all? I said, it has become essential to do so. Aditya replied. His nerves seemed overwrought for some reason. We soon reached the house, which was surrounded by high walls. Even from the ruins, one could easily imagine how grand it must have been once upon a time. We entered the building, climbed up the stairs, and reached the attic on the second floor of the house. So yes, now both Aditya and his friend are leaving the place. The place in the sense Nagin uncle's tea shop. They just paid the money and they just left the place, and they got the address of Jogesh Kabiraj's house. They got into the car. Aditya was driving. He was just nervous, and he seems to be abnormal. Okay. Now his friend is asking whether do you want to go to your house or not. So for that question, Aditya said that we definitely have to go to our house, and it is very certain to do, and it has become essential to do so. Like that, Aditya replied. Okay. So his nerves seemed overwrought. Do you know? You all know the meaning of overwrought. Okay, when they reached the house, which was surrounded by high walls, there were ruins. There were many ruins, and the buildings were very much damaged. Even though it was damaged, one could easily imagine how big or how grand it must have been once upon a time. Like that, it was very grand. Okay, then they entered the building and they climbed up the stairs and reached the attic on the second floor of the house. Clear? This was my favorite room, said Aditya. The attic has always been a favorite with children. It is in the attic that the child seems to be in a world of its own. A portion of a wall of the attic had crumbled down, and though the windows that had been created, we could see the sky, the fields, a part of the rice mill, the spire of the old temple. In the whole house, the attic had probably been the worst hit by wind and weather. The floor was strewn with twigs and straw and pigeon droppings. Among other things, there was a broken cricket bat, that remains of an armchair, and a wooden packing case. So now they have reached the attic, and the narrator is explaining or describing the place. Okay, so Aditya is saying that this was my favorite place, and the attic has always been a favorite with children. It is in the attic that the child seems to be in a world of its own. Okay, so the portion of the wall of the attic had crumbled down, and through the windows that had been created, we could see the skies, the fields, a part of the rice mill, the spire of the old temple. In the whole house, the attic had probably been the worst hit by wind and weather. The floor was strewn with twigs and straws and pigeon droppings. Among other things, there was a broken cricket bat, the remains of an armchair, and a wooden packing case. Clear? Aditya got on top of the packing case and pushed his hand inside the ventilator, thus upsetting a sparrow's nest, a part of which fell to the ground. However, he heaved a sigh of relief when he had got what he had been looking for. When I asked him what it was, he said, "You'll get to know very soon." We next went to the jeweler's to find out the weight of the article. The jeweler remarked that it was an antique. Our next stop was the house of Jogesh Kabiraj. Though I was a little curious, I didn't ask Aditya anything. We entered the house and went to the room where Sasanka Sanyal stayed. Sasanka uncle was busy reciting verse from Tagore. When he had finished, Aditya asked, "May we come in?" He turned and faced us. So this is the scene happening after the attics scene. Okay, so Aditya got on top of the packing case. Packing case is nothing but just a suitcase, and pushed his hand inside the ventilator, thus upsetting a sparrow's nest. He found what he was trying to get. Okay, he found an article, and he felt very relieved. Okay, so next they went to a jeweler shop and just inquired about the weight of the particular thing, the article. Okay, the jeweler remarked that it was an antique piece. Okay, antique means it's from a old, it is very old. Okay, our next stop was the house of Jokesh Kabiraj. Though I was a little curious, I didn't ask Aditya anything. So the narrator was very curious. Okay, what was that article? What it could be? Like that, many questions were raised in his mind, but he did not ask any questions to Aditya. Okay, then they entered the house and went to the room where Sasanka Sanyal stayed. Sasanka uncle was busy reciting the verse from Tagore. When he finished, Aditya asked, may we come in? Then uncle just turned and faced them. Okay, so that's what happened in that scene. Clear? "No one visits me," he said in an unperturbed manner. "Would you mind if we come in?" "Come in." Except for a charpoy, there was nothing else to sit on. So we remained standing. "Do you remember Aditya Narayana Chaudhary?" Aditya asked him. "Of course," said the gentleman. The spoilt child of affluent parents. Was a fairly good student but could never beat me. He was extremely jealous of me and he used to tell lies. "I know," said Aditya. He then took out a packet from his pocket and handing it over to him said, "This is for you from Aditya." "What is it?" he asked. "Money." "Money? How much money?" 150 rupees. "He has said that he will be happy if you accept it." Shall I laugh or cry? Aditya has given me money. Why this sudden generosity? Man does change with time. Perhaps Aditya is not the same Aditya as before. So yes, this is the conversation between whom? Aditya and who's that guy? Yes, Sanyal. Very good. So they just went to the house to visit Sanyal, and he was reading a verse of Tagore. They just visited that house, and he said that no one visits me. But now Aditya just asked him, "Do you remember Aditya Narayana Chaudhary?" And he responds that the spoiled child of an affluent parents. He was fairly a good student, but he could not beat Sanyal. Okay, in education related activities. Like that he said, but he also said that the child will always say many lies. Okay. Then Aditya took something from his pocket and gave it to Sanyal. What is it? He asked. It was money. And how much money? He asked in return. For that he replied that 150 rupees. Okay, so he just said that if you receive this money, Aditya will be very happy. Like that he said. Then why this sudden generosity? Man does change with time. Perhaps Aditya is not the same Aditya as before. Like that Sanyal said. Okay, so that's what happened in this scene. Clear? A change. I got the prize. He could not bear it. He took it from me to show his father and never returned it to me. Said that there was a hole in his pocket and it had fallen through it. This is the price of the medal. It is yours? Sasanka Sanyal was amazed. He stared at Aditya and said, "The price of the medal that could not be more than 5 rupees. It was a silver medal. Silver is now 30 times costlier than before." So, this was the conversation continued by Sanyal and Aditya. Okay. So, once what happened is Aditya during the school days he just got a medal. Sanyal got a medal, and Aditya just borrowed the medal to show his father, and he never returned it back and said that the medal was lost because he had a hole in his pant pocket. Clear? So, like that, he just fooled him and he just took the medal with him. Now, Aditya just he just realized what was wrong, and he just wanted to return the medal to him, and that's why he came back to his hometown and to visit Sanyal. Clear? So now he just returned the medal to Sanyal. Clear? He said that Sasanka Sanyal was amazed. He stared at Aditya and said, "The price of the medal that could not be more than 5 rupees. It was a silver medal," like that he said. But Aditya replied that silver is now 30 times costlier than before. Clear? Really? I had no news of that. But Sasanka uncle looked at the 15 10-rupee notes in his hand and then looked at Aditya. There was a completely new expression on his face. He said, "Aditya, this smacks too much of charity, doesn't it?" We remained silent. Peering intently at Aditya, Sasanka Sanyal smiled and said, "I had recognized you at Nagin uncle's tea shop by that mole on your right cheek. I could see you had not recognized me." So I recited the same poem that I had recited on the prize giving day on purpose so that you may remember. Then, when you came to visit me, I couldn't help venturing my anger on you. So, this is what said in this paragraph. So, the money was given to Sasanka, and how much he gave? He just gave 150 rupees. Okay, the 15 10-rupee note in his hand, and then looked at Aditya. The expression was completely new, and he just asked that, "Aditya, this smacks too much of charity, doesn't it?" Like that he asked, and both of them remained silent, and he said that, "I recognized you when you were in Uncle Nagin's tea shop itself on by seeing your mole on your right cheek." Like that he said. Okay. So, to give you a clue, I just recited the same poem which I recited on the prize giving day in the school days, on which I won the silver medal that you stole to your house. Okay, so like that he said. Then when you came to visit me, I couldn't help venturing my anger on you. So that's why I said I did not open or reveal that I can recognize you, like that Sasanka uncle said. Okay, clear? Yes. You have done the right thing. Your grievances are absolutely justified. But I will be happy if you accept the money, said Aditya. Sasanka Sanyal shook his head and said, "No, money will soon be spent. I would have preferred to have the medal if it were possible. I would have forgotten the unpleasant incidents of my childhood if I could get the medal back." So, the medal that had been hidden in the attic for 29 long years was eventually restored to its owner, Sriman Sasanka Sanyal. Special prize for recitation 1948 was still clearly engraved on it, translated from the Bengali story Chilkota. Okay, so finally, the main reason for Aditya's returning back to his hometown is to regret or to change the mistake that he has done in his past. He just made fool of his friend, and he just stole his silver medal. Later, after realizing that it was a mistake, he just came back to give the medal to the owner itself, and the owner is Sriman Sasanka Sanyal. So finally the medal was given back to the owner itself. Okay, so this prize, this special prize for recitation was given to him in the year of 1948 during their schooling days. Clear? So Aditya and Sasanka Sanyal were classmates, and both of them were good students. But Aditya was very jealousy on Sasanka Sanyal's talent. So that's why he just stole the silver medal, and he just stored it in his attic for 29 years. Now, after recognizing that what he has done to Sanyal was a mistake, then he just came back to his hometown and rectified his mistake. Okay, so likewise, the moral of the story is whenever you commit a mistake, you have to rectify it on by yourself. Clear? So that's the moral of the story. Have you all understood? Okay, class, I hope you have understood the story of Sasanka, Sanyal, and Aditya. I think you have understood the moral also. Just read the glossaries and try to understand their meanings. Use it properly in your daily life also, and just keep practicing reading and writing. See you in the next class. Take care. Bye bye.